Hey everybody, welcome to Amphlett Reviews. First thing you might have noticed, a new haircut and a slight shave. It's been 1 year this month since I've had a haircut. My girlfriend very generously cut my hair for me, which is very nice because I feel a lot more fresh now. Hopefully going back to work, hopefully a couple of months. So just kind of get back into a kind of a routine if possible. But yes, what we're here to talk about is Zack Snyder's Justice League. And being the fact there's so many reviews, being the fact there's so many articles on this, because it is one of the hottest films of this year. A film from 2017, being completely redone, reworked, presented in a brand new kind of format, 4-hour version. Is the hottest talk at the moment because there isn't much really out there at the moment. There seems to be quite a few films coming up the next couple of months with Mortal Kombat, King Kong vs Godzilla. But for this review, I'm just going to go, speaking my kind of thoughts and opinions. I'm not really going to go kind of a specific kind of routine I usually do in my kind of reviews. I'm just going to say what I feel, and hopefully you guys just enjoy the review and hopefully create a bit of discussion in this format. And finally, from the heavens, we have is Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour version. Fantastic, incredible film. It's amazing to think so long ago there was a campaign for this. There was talks about kind of a possible kind of assembly cut, work print cut, and finally last year we got an official announcement that Zack Snyder's 4-hour version would be premiering on HBO Max or on Sky Cinema and Now TV in the UK. Phenomenal kind of progress throughout the year in terms of the evolution, the journey that's gone on kind of thing from the campaign to actually getting announced to actually making the film. It's gone from 20 million to 70 million. Actors going back to do reshoots, a lot of work in terms of trailers, in terms of kind of visual effects, and to get into a format. It was going to be episodical, then it was a feature film, and it's gone through a lot of change and process over the years. And obviously with the announcement of the multiverse that DC Cinema users are doing now with the kind of the Batman and Joker and all these kind of other kind of formats being kind of separate but all being entwined at the same time, I think it's very clever. It's very freeing for a kind of a franchise like this, like Marvel or DC or anything really. If you can do multiverse and pull it off the right way without being an excuse to kind of say, oh, we messed up, so we're just not going to bother kind of thing. Kind of the interesting direction the multiverse can really offer. This film's a massive improvement, a massive tonal shift, a restructure, a kind of reform into what the vision was originally from the 2017 Joss Whedon version, which everyone by now knows what happened, in terms of him taking over from kind of a tragic happening in Zack Snyder's life. He kind of reassembled the film into a 2-hour complete tonal mess. Characters are saying things and doing things. Cyborg and the Flash were completely useless in the film. A very weird, structurally very put together film that made very little sense for kind of a Marvel kind of jokey kind of slapstick kind of version. If you've seen the 2017 version, you kind of know the kind of the story beats already, where the kind of the team have to come together, they have to kind of stop Steppenwolf and kind of stop the mother boxes and get to know these kind of characters and kind of form the Justice League by the end of the film, etc., etc. This film is the same kind of story, but it is so different in terms of what it offers around it. It is almost a completely different film. It is a completely different film. Epic kind of journey, Lord of the Rings kind of scale, kind of insight into these characters, into this world, post Batman v Superman, post Superman's death. Where are these characters now? What are they doing kind of thing, and how they kind of form this team to stop a common enemy. And one of the things I like about this movie so much, and why I like the other two movies, is that Zack's got a very good key eye into not just doing typical kind of Marvel kind of comic book characters. These are people that with real emotions, real problems, real struggles, and they have to kind of form to be better, to be stronger. Batman's kind of motivation in Batman v Superman was a 20-year plus nasty, brutal kind of version of Batman who is sick and tired of losing people. How many characters stay good, and he is a much more aggressive version of the character. In this version, he has learned and been inspired from Superman's death to kind of be better and to kind of form his team and to kind of have a common goal to take on the enemy in a sense. And he is all about hope and faith to push him through and to get these people together, and he's willing to do anything it takes to do that. And it's just something quite different from his character, and the fact this is reflected a lot more in this version with the kind of interaction between Alfred and in Diana Prince kind of thing. I think it's fantastic, and how he approaches kind of various characters, various scenes, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. The fact that we've got a version of Batman which is actually Batman again, and a smart, intelligent detective who is the kind of ringleader of this kind of group, who is someone who is determined to have enough resources enough to put this together. I think it's fantastic. It's so much more rewarding and so much more in line with the Batman v Superman version of the character that we got, and is showing an actual an evolution to his character. The fact that he nearly kills Superman with the last movie, and he goes to a bumbling idiot within the Joss Whedon version. The fact he's smart enough to know how to use his team members and their abilities to take on a common enemy makes him a crucial member of that team. One of the things I absolutely love about this 4-hour version, what it does so well, is that it takes its time. It really develops and really flashes out these characters so well. Tonally, it is absolutely phenomenal. It is more in line with the other two movies in terms of the emotional weight, in terms of how kind of Steppenwolf gets the mother boxes, the kind of the tragedy of kind of character deaths, kind of sacrifice in the sense, the fact that you're going to get time to kind of allow the characters to breathe. The whole scene with the Amazons on kind of, with Steppenwolf taking the box again is absolutely phenomenal. It's a much longer scene, it's much epic on Lord of the Rings kind of epic scale, but you feel the weight of those characters, you feel your interactions, characterization in terms of stronger action scenes. The music choices from Junkie XL I think is a lot more interesting, a lot more deeper, and a lot more kind of natural kind of pacing in the sense to kind of get to kind of various kind of scenes. I think the interactions between all the cast is a lot more interesting. I think the alternative dialogue and the kind of their own individual kind of struggles is a lot more interestingly kind of presented in this film. Aquaman's character is someone running away from his inheritance. He's meant to be king of the Atlantis. This explore a lot more of his own solo movie, but this movie, he's someone who's just doing various kind of small little things, helping out small villages, helping out people, and he's got a higher calling, and he has to kind of step up himself to take on Steppenwolf and kind of reclaim the kind of, the heritage that he is owed in a sense. One of the best things about this film is that the Flash is an actual character again. He's not just a bumbling rip-off kind of Peter Parker kind of character. He's someone who's dealing with trauma with his father being in prison, which if you know the history of that character, you know why. Being a scientist, he builds a suit from scratch kind of thing. The fact he's going towards kind of forensics, kind of criminal forensics. He is socially awkward, he is a weird character, but he has got a good heart, and he does go into the situations and he does have the best intentions. And he's not just a kind of weird, kind of socially awkward kind of character. He is someone who is dealing with a lot of struggles, a lot of personal kind of anxieties, and he kind of has to find his worth within the team itself, because you've got gods and kind of, Batman kind of thing, and he is someone who is kind of brought into the kind of the scene and being wowed and amazed by all of it, because he's never had any of this kind of stuff, and he has to step up and really, rise to the occasion within various kind of fight sequences. And I think it's fantastic. The whole tunnel sequence has completely been redone in terms of, music, in terms of, extra scenes, tones, interactions with the characters, how they fight Steppenwolf and the kind of parademons. It's a lot more interesting. He gets injured, he gets hurt, and he is a really powerful, really interesting character in those moments, especially towards the end with the kind of the second half of the film, and he has a very crucial moment to the entire film, which leads to more how he is a very powerful character with the Speed Force. And I won't ruin too much about the ending, but he has a crucial part to play, and his interactions with, especially with Cyborg, which is another character that's dealing with a lot of issues with his parents and kind of thing, and kind of coming to terms of being this kind of almost anti-human kind of character, but he's exploring his abilities. And the fact that this film does a great job at exploring his kind of inner works, where he's kind of going into his mindset, in a sense, his mind palace. The fact that he is such a powerful character, that he's in tune with every single piece of technology, electronics, the fact that he can give money to a person, the fact that he can activate every single nuclear missile on the planet. He is extremely powerful and very much in tune with the mother boxes. He has to kind of deal with the kind of father figure that was never there, his mother that kind of passed away due to a tragic accident, and kind of come to terms with being this kind of freak of nature, kind of a Frankenstein kind of monster. We're in this kind of team of people in a sense. I think it's a very interesting journey, and people are right to say that Cyborg is the heart of the film, because he is definitely a character that you are rooting for, and definitely a character that you want to get behind. And his journey from start to finish is deeply satisfying. Not just a kind of a backseat driver character that's there for the sake of being there, very much like the Flash and Cyborg get so much more to do, and so crucially important to the actual story beats of the film. It's absolutely insane the fact that these were cut, which leads towards why it's a 4-hour version, because you've got so many characters in terms of continuing on their kind of journey within kind of Wonder Woman and Batman, but you also got the new players like Aquaman and the Flash, Cyborg kind of thing, and you got Superman later on, then you got the villain characters. Steppenwolf is a much more stronger villain, a lot more menacing, a lot more badass, a lot more brutal type of design. I love his whole kind of skeleton kind of suit. The look of him is absolutely amazing. I love his alternative dialogue. I think it's absolutely amazing as well. The fact fact he is someone who is trying to make amends for his kind of betraying Darkseid at some point in the past, the fact he's kind of trying to find the mother boxes and find the anti-life equation. I think that kind of history and that kind of back and forth between the kind of villain with Darkseid, I think is absolutely phenomenal. It's really interesting. It makes it a lot more organic, rounded kind of character that has a clear mission himself to take on this planet, take on the kind of the heroes and do what he needs to do in terms of killing anyone and taking anything he needs to go to accomplish his goal. And of course, you got the introduction of Darkseid in this film, the very first kind of tease in the sense that his kind of upcoming presence within the kind of the future timelines, the future movies of Justice League. Absolutely phenomenal kind of take on the character. I really love Darkseid. I think he's great. And in this film, he feels menacing. He feels really badass. And the kind of the small glimpses you get, the kind of bits of dialogue you get with him, you feel his presence. You feel his kind of his conquest with him and his anger within the kind of fantastic kind of flashback sequence with the kind of the worlds of men kind of joined together to take him on. A very early version of Darkseid, but now he is fully ready. He is packed. He's got the kind of the Omega beams. He's got his army. He is ready to take on Earth and the kind of protectors of Earth. And the kind of the teasers that we get kind of within the Nightmare timeline, I think is even more interesting to kind of see that kind of come to fruition, maybe in a future movie, fingers crossed. And one of the most biggest surprises is that Wonder Woman is an actual character again, an actual person that I want to root for. She is the restored version of what I wanted the character to be. She was absolutely incredible in Batman v Superman. I thought her introduction was a good span of the works, a good play upon the kind of the two teams of Superman and Batman. The fact that she's been around a lot longer, these characters have been. She's like, what, 1,000 years old? She's an Amazon warrior, someone who is truly badass, been through the centuries, been through all these wars in the sense, and she's someone that you do not want to mess with. She has got more clearer, more interesting insight into kind of the world of man and kind of the idea of hope and stuff. A lot more than these other characters would be, and the fact that she's restored, re-put back together in Zack Snyder's kind of vision is incredible. And it's great to kind of see badass action sequences where she's actually killing people, she's actually doing things in a sense. She's not just messing around, she's not playing around. And the fact that she can inspire hope, the fact that that first opening sequence with the kind of criminals, she is killing them, she is bashing against walls, she takes on the kind of the main guy who kind of threatened to kill the entire hostages, just completely blows him away. And the fact that she inspires kind of other people, the children, even the little girl says, can I be like you one day? And she says, you can be anything you want to be. Fantastic. You can have hopeful kind of beaming hopeful messages within movies without being just kind of light-hearted, goofy, kind of flashy, kind of comic booky movies. You can have dark themes, dark characters, you can have real world consequences, you can have Batman kill, you can have Superman kill, you can have Wonder Woman killing and still be these characters. Superman's introduction is a lot more different compared to the 2017 version. You get about the same amount of screen time, but just different type of scenes, different type of moments within the kind of the characters. The fight sequence within the original version is a lot stronger than this one. You get extra fight moments, you get a lot more different kind of approach to kind of Superman taking on Batman. You got a lot more interactions with him and Lois, which I think is very interesting and it's very well done. The fact that kind of this character's kind of got a second chance, a kind of re-spark of life, and he has to kind of come back and kind of returns and kind of figures out who he is again. And this aspect of the character is so interesting, it's so well explored within the kind of the trilogy built up to this moment, with him kind of sacrificing himself in the last movie, to being kind of given a second chance, kind of a re-spark of life, to have that kind of relationship between Lois, and Lois being the key, but Lois being his world and being grounding him to the place of Earth. The fact that he is the most powerfulest person probably in the universe, he's there because of the people and the friends he has, interactions with him. The fact that his mother, Lois, his team in a sense, wants him to be an inspiring kind of beacon of hope is a very interesting, compelling kind of journey. And the fact that he kind of takes on arms at the end of the film and joins the team to take on Steppenwolf is fantastic. But it's not just Superman coming in, saving the day. Everyone works together. Everyone has a part to play in taking on the villain and preparing for the upcoming dark side of invasion later down the line. And of course, the hints towards the Nightmare timeline with Superman being potentially evil in the future, I think it's very interesting to kind of get to that point, and it kind of reinforces the ideas of what makes Superman Superman and why he gets corrupted later on within the kind of the anti-life equation within the Nightmare timeline, and how Batman has to kind of take him on and kind of restore kind of the mistakes of the past, which is very interesting to kind of see within a potential movie. Very rewarding, very satisfying. Sure, there might be a few issues here and there, sure it might be a bit of a struggle to get through in a sense in terms of a complete sequence, but that's what the chapter selects are for. That's why you can pause them in places and kind of take a breather in here and there. But this is a Lord of the Rings epic scale kind of movie in a sense, a fantastic achievement, a fantastic accomplishment from Zack Snyder in terms of getting this film back out. The fact you've got so many introductions and so many teasers to kind of where the franchise can go with these characters. I am so grateful and so happy to have a trilogy, to have 3 movies that I can have and own, in the sense, hopefully release get on 4K later in the year, you know, that I can actually enjoy and get invested. If there's going to be a part 2, I would be so happy, I was so thrilled. I think that's the goal now. I think that's the idea what we want to try and do. Restore the Snyderverse, restore their vision, finish off the story. So many movies don't get the opportunity, so many movies get cut short for various kind of places. Some movies carry on going, or shows carry on going that don't deserve to carry on going. And despite your opinions, whether you like this movie, whether you hate this movie, whether you prefer the 2017 Joss Whedon version, go and support the film. Go and rent it, go and watch it on HBO Max, go and Now TV, go and watch it, put it in the background, go and buy the Blu-rays, go and buy the merch kind of thing. Support the film, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This will never happen again. And if we prove to Warner Bros. And all these studios that this is kind of what we want and kind of a vision idea that we want, then this is a fantastic kind of possibility of a future that we're going to get. What are your thoughts and opinions, guys? Please comment down below. Have you subscribed to HBO Max? Have you watched it on Now TV? And if you're in the UK, are you supporting the film? What are your thoughts and opinions on the actual movement, on the film? Please comment down below. So in the meantime, guys, and down for reviews, signing out.